Hey listeners, it's Shay Yu here, the producer of Banterly. Just a heads up, the sound quality in this week's episode isn't top notch as our hosts are currently traveling. But don't worry, we're on it and aiming for smoother sound next week and the weeks following. In the meantime, enjoy this episode and check out our favorite studio recorded episodes like the one about Saltburn and our Valentine's Day special. We hope you enjoy.
Hey everybody!
Hey everyone!
Welcome back to another episode of Banterly. I'm Aidan.
And I'm Aditi, and we're at home.
We are at home today. How's the pop culture for you this week?
Pop culture for me this week. I realize I feel like I've talked about Beyonce a few times, but
Yeah,
she
it's
just dropped a
Beyonce.
hairline, Sacred, which seems really cool. I'm excited about it. Is that pop culture? I feel like it is. I feel like everyone's dropping their own. It's Beyonce, the epitome of pop culture. What's your pop culture news of the week?
I have been with one of my friends. We've been watching this show called The Traitors.
Deep in the Scottish Highlands, there's a castle where the faithful reside. Their goal? Win $250,000. But hidden amongst them are 3 traitors.
I don't know if you've heard of it. There was a season 1, but I think season 2 is getting a lot more traction. And again, this could just be me and my tiny circle of reality TV knowledge, but the premise is they take a bunch of reality TV stars from different shows. So there's a few housewives, there's people from Big Brother, there's someone from Bling Empire, Shaws of Sunset, all these other different types of game shows, and they all compete. And they go to this castle and live with this actor named Alan Cumming, who, as I said before, I love The Good Wife. He's in The Good Wife, and he's actually Scottish, and I had no idea. But we're at this Scottish castle. They all live together, and 2 people are assigned to be traitors, and the other 20 are faithfuls. And each night, the traitors kill off someone, and the group has to guess who the traitors are, and they vote someone off every night. It's kind of like a Clue, like murder in the mansion type of thing, but it's really good. I don't normally like those competition type shows, but it's really good.
Sounds really good. I was gonna say, you said it sounds like Clue. I was like, that sounds like bottoms.
Say, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Right? Is that the name of it? Did I just actually say something so
Bodies,
stupid? What's that movie
Bodies.
called? Bodies.
'Cause
Bottoms.
Bottoms
Where
is the
did I
same
get
director, but it's not Bottoms. It's Bodies.
that? Oh.
Bodies.
Guys, it's Wednesday night. I don't know what's going on up here. Oh God, that's top 5 worst things I've said on here. Definitely not number 1, but it's up there.
Bottoms. Oh.
Oh God.
Okay, should we jump into our question of the day today? Today's question of the day is: did you ever find yourself in a situation that felt like it was straight out of a high school movie or TV show?
The thing about me is I was deeply, how do I say this, lame in high school. So I never had like fun little high schoolish experiences. I guess like this is more retroactive for me. And I know we've talked about it already, but never have I ever for me was very indicative of my high school experience. Like, I'm not as crazy as Baby, I hope.
She did a crazy Beyonce hair flip, and she didn't even shower him with dandruff. He may not be cheating, but he's still a toxic, condescending douchebag.
You think you're gonna...
I think just, like, that was very me, minus all the romance that she had. I had none of that, but I was very, like, head in the books, super competitive, like, I need to get into this school that is my dream school, and I'm gonna do all of these activities. And I made some enemies along the way. But like that was truly my high school experience. And I feel like a lot of like young adult, high schoolish type media I consume, like, I don't know, I really didn't have a romantic side to high school. And now I sound really lame. But hey, that's me.
That's not lame at all, because I didn't either. Actually, the memory that came to mind when I saw this question was, it didn't really have anything to do with me. It was more like my whole school as a whole, but it felt like it was out of some crazy movie, but it was also really beautiful, but also really sad. Basically, what happened,
Your high school or the movie?
the high school,
It
the,
was
the
also
thing that
really
happened in
beautiful, but
high
okay.
school, but was beautiful and sad. High school was great, but this event was beautiful and sad and scary. It was my junior year, and there was a person who was in the grade above me. He was a senior. He came out as gay, and he was the football star, and it was like a big deal. And then that story kind of gained some national traction. Him and his boyfriend ended up going to be on Ellen. Anyways, it was a big thing, because it was like, oh, openly gay football high school player. Like, you don't hear about that a whole lot. But one group heard about it, the Westboro Baptist Church, which is this national hate group, came to my high school and protested.
Where the Westboro Baptist Church is going to be protesting a football player who is gay, who's now going to Indiana State.
And at this point, I like I said, I was a junior, and I was out of the glass closet already. So I was like, oh, I'm part of and there wasn't a whole lot of gay people at my high school. It was a small high school, 600 students. Spectrum was our gay straight alliance club. And our gay straight alliance club was actually founded by the guy who founded ChatGPT. So a lot of connections here in this story. But the Westboro Baptist Church came to protest, and the school kind of came together. We had this kind of fun, like, gay pride day. There were rainbows, and we had this like DJ come, and we danced in like one of the gyms. It was like while they were outside like picketing or whatever they do. It was really like crazy that they would come to our school.
There are tons of signs from folks that are here to support Jake Bain.
You could feel the hate, but you could feel the love even more. And it was a really, really special moment in high school. And so that's why I said it was beautiful, but it was sad and it was scary. But
that's definitely all of those things. When you said that they were coming to protest, I was like, what are you protesting?
Gay.
Happiness?
Yeah, what? Literally. Just someone being gay and happy.
Like, that's so, like, get a job. Like, do anything else.
Literally. Why are you doing that? There were our school was like 7 through 12. So you're really going to do this to a bunch of 12-year-olds?
That's insane. Also, I also want to circle back. You mentioned two huge things. And if I recall, you're from St. Louis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yet here you are with a connection to Ellen and also whoever founded ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I didn't know St. Louis ran like that.
Oh, no. The Ellen
No offense.
The Ellen thing was because of his story got a lot of traction, so Ellen Show invited him to go to LA. But my high school has had a lot of famous alumni. Sam Altman, who founded ChatGPT, John Hamm, Aidan Taylor, Ellie Kemper.
John Hamm? Wait, sorry.
Yes.
I didn't recognize one of those names.
Which one?
What?
Ellie Kemper? She was in The Office and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I don't...
Okay. Yeah, we don't have to. It's okay.
No, St.
We
Louis
can
makes
move on.
stars. St. Louis makes stars. That school breeds stars. Anyways.
Don't stop.
Kind of on the topic of gay, what are we going to be talking about this episode? Westboro Baptist Church, please don't come for us, but we're going to be talking about LGBTQ today. The two shows we're going to be talking about are my favorite, Glee, and a lot of people's favorites, Heartstopper.
I really like Glee. We'll get into it, but I've been a Glee fan since I was a kid. Heartstopper, I'm very new to, but
Oh, no. Oh, when that Heartstopper was not geared toward you, it was towards the whole massive
Yes.
community that loves it. I know that you're
okay.
we're on the
Okay.
same page about that. And I'll just start us off with Glee, because I've already mentioned it a few times as we've been making these episodes, because it's the birthplace of the career of my favorite human, Dinah Agron. Glee is a high school comedy musical show set in the middle of the country, Lima, Ohio, not far from St. Louis. Actually, I have no idea where it is, but it's in the Midwest. It's in the Midwest. It follows a group of kind of outcast misfit students in their high school's Glee club, and they prepare for show choir competitions and the inevitable drama that comes with being in high school and being a high school TV show. There's topics like teen pregnancy, suicide, homophobia, bullying, body image issues, domestic abuse, substance abuse, and death, and all sorts of things. But there's also comedy. And it's a really funny show. It's a really entertaining show. I think a lot of people don't understand that it is a satire, especially season one. So when people are like, Glee's crazy? Why would they say that? It's making fun of stereotypes, you guys. That's the point. It's really, you guys got to go rewatch it. It's really funny. Sue Sylvester, played by Jane Lynch, is one of the funniest characters, in my opinion.
I am going to create an environment that is so toxic. No one will want to be a part of that club. Like the time I sold my house to a nice young couple, and I salted the earth in the backyard so that nothing living could grow there for 100 years. You know why I did that? Because they tried to get me to pay their closing costs.
I first started watching Glee when it was airing in its second season. My parents didn't allow me to watch the first season, but the second season, I was allowed to, as was my younger brother. So the math ain't mathin'. But I remember when they watched season one, I walked into my parents' room to like say goodnight and everything, and they were watching it. And the first scene that I saw was Quinn Fabray, who Diana Agron's character, singing "This Is a Man's World."
This is a man's world. This is a man's world.
Which is when there's a bunch of pregnant women surrounding her and she's also pregnant. They're dancing. And I remember asking my mom, like, are they actually pregnant? And that image was seared into my head. And then next season, I was a fan. I was a Gleek. Do you watch Glee? Well, I know you love it. We've already talked about that, but what are your thoughts?
For the time that it was coming out, was very progressive, I want to say. Like, it showed a lot of diverse topics in a really, I think it was in a pretty good way. I don't want to say great, because there are certain aspects of the show that, looking back, crazy. So many crazy things. And I get that you said it was a satire. The first line that came to mind is Mr. Shu says, "You're all minorities. You're in the Glee club."
There are so many lines, like all those YouTube videos that are like moments in Glee that I'll remember till I'm 60, or like Glee compilations of the craziest lines in that show that you blink and you might miss it. And then it's like, bam, what did they just say?
What did they just say? I feel that way with a lot of things in Glee, but overall, fantastic show. I was a really big fan growing up, and I literally, like, I remember exactly where I was when it happened, like when Corey Monteith died. That was like, I feel like that's somehow one of the first celebrity deaths that I think really impacted me, was Corey Monteith, because I like watched him so much on Glee, and I really liked his character. Grilled cheeses, hilarious. Thought that was fantastic. But yeah, that was really hard. I really liked him and Leah Michele together, and I don't know. That episode in Glee where they do the like memorial. Yeah. Oh, it's like very beautiful, but so hard to watch.
And when Naya Rivera, who played Santana, sings "If I Die Young," that made me cry in that moment. But then like knowing what happens to her in the future and her tragic death, it is heartbreaking. And I hate when people are like, the Glee curse, the Glee curse. Like, so many things have happened. Like, let's like that just feels like it's very sad. I feel like it's I don't know, that term, the Glee curse, and we talked about in our reboot episode about the documentary that they came out of investigating the Glee curse and how nobody on the cast approved of it. It's like let's not make a documentary that makes it look like they were all murdered by somebody. There was like some serial killer coming after Glee cast. Like, they're all tragic deaths, and yeah.
Yeah, it's like purely a conspiracy theory. It's like, it's horrible that it's such a big coincidence that so many bad things have happened to the cast, but again, like we talked about in the documentary episode, that was literally just trying to profit off of all the people who like make jokes about this thing, which I think is really crazy, especially like you said, the cast members didn't approve it. And like they're all, I'm sure, constantly mourning these lives of people that they've worked with.
The reason that I think Naya Rivera's death is so tragic was because her character Santana really was a pioneer for young gay people everywhere. She played Santana, who ended up coming out as a lesbian later on, and the whole show kind of followed her sexual awakening and her relationship. I think Glee just told so many stories about the LGBTQ community from all different perspectives. It wasn't all sunshines and rainbows. It also wasn't all depressing and sad. Like, yeah, they had their moments. Santana wasn't supported by her grandmother at first, but then Kurt had a wonderfully supportive dad. We love Bert Hummel. And Coach Beast ended up coming out as trans, and the character Unique, who came in season 4, played by Alex Newell, and Unique's gender identity crisis and discovering themselves and how they expressed themselves with wigs and feminine clothing. Like, it was doing things that, and back in when this show started in 2009, like it really was giving people characters to be like, wow, I want to be like that. It's not a sob story. It's not a sad story. It's a beautiful story.
Yeah, I completely agree. And for me, Kurt and Blaine, like that was my favorite TV couple for the longest time. And there's that scene, I always think about it. This is a separate topic, but there are so many songs where I'm like, I think about the Glee cover of it before I think about the actual song. One of them is Teenage Dream.
Before you met me, I was alright, but things were kinda heavy. You brought me to life now every February. You'll be
Oh my gosh. Teenage Dream with the Warblers, and then Teenage Dream that he does live in New York. That one.
That's the one I'm talking about because like in general, I don't think I like the New York season of Glee. It like pulls me in so many different directions. But oh my God, when Blaine is singing that to Kurt and was just like sobbing, it's just, I don't know. I really feel like their relationship as a whole was portrayed in like such a beautiful, heart-wrenching way. Like I was just constantly rooting for them.
Yeah, there were definitely some storylines in Glee that I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like I'll hear a song, like you said, and I'll be like, oh my God. Remember when they did this in Glee and this was happening and this was happening? But really, like, I would rather hear the Glee version of most songs than the regular version. Because honestly, they introduced me to a lot of music. I'll hear like a classic rock song, like a Journey song, be like, oh my God, Glee.
just a small town girl living in a lonely world.
Like, no, this is Journey. Like, okay, well, Glee put them on the map.
That's how I feel. Exactly. There are a lot of like genres that I feel I would never have listened to if it weren't for Glee, which is really interesting.
Oh my God, it's so good. But it really did. It wasn't the first show with gay people, obviously, but it was one of the first shows that really paid attention to gay people and made them have storylines that weren't just them being gay. Like they were layered and complicated. And to quote Kurt Hummel, or a vision of Kurt Hummel that Mercedes had, gay, 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 gay. Oh, I'm so gay, a little purse came out of my mouth. Do you know that one?
I don't know that one.
They're sitting at Breadsticks, and I think it's Mercedes. She's like, because remember when Mercedes liked Kurt and she thought
oh my gosh,
she had a crush on him? This was later, though, because Blaine was there, and they were just like, gay, 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 gay. And then like he pulls a Barbie purse out of his mouth. It was, roll the tape, please. It's so funny.
Yes,
Stop
yes,
it.
I know.
She's amazing.
Amazing.
Gay.
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 Oh my gosh, I opened my mouth and a little purse falls out.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like a pretty good example of, you know, how I think gay representation was really starting off in TV. Like gay people having entire storylines where they're not just represented through like their sexual experiences, or they're not just a stereotype. And I feel like we've come a long way. And one of the ways in which we have evolved into a better representation is through Heartstopper, which is a show on Netflix.
Happy New Year, true boy.
Well, if it isn't Charlie Spring, Happy New Year. You're over there, next to Nicholas Nelson.
And I think that this is like a very classic teen little high school romance show, which I really love. And we essentially have Charlie and Nick, our main characters. They're friends in their little school, and we essentially navigate them through their budding friendship, and then they have like their cute little romantic moments throughout, and we eventually see them fall in love. Spoiler alert. But one of the things I recently found out is that the show is based off of a comic series. Did you know this?
I did not know that.
One of my friends, she's read the entire comic series, and there's even more coming out. So like the series, it follows them obviously starting through high school and then eventually college, and they're like still creating more, and now they're creating them with the two actors in mind who play the main characters. So I think it's a really wholesome, cute story that I just loved watching. I don't know what your thoughts were.
It is definitely very cute, and it really is a beautiful story. I don't remember when it came out, but I watched it when it came out at first because I was like, oh my God, it's cute. People are talking about it. I'll watch it. And I couldn't watch it after, I think, 2 or 3 episodes because no hate to the show, because it really is great for representation. They're really normalizing it, and they're also talking about the struggles of coming out that a lot of people face, and also like being bisexual is okay, which I think is also something that's complicated too in the community. But it made me sad because I am jealous of them. Like, that's all that I wanted in high school was for my crush or crushes, because I had multiple, who were to like me back. And the fact that this little boy got it made me so sad. And then just seeing it and being like, oh my God, like high school could have been, I know that high school was great and I love it. I met my friends and my family there, but it's one of those things where whenever I see it being portrayed in media, when I see straight couples in high school, I don't care. But seeing a show about gay people in high school and they're a couple and they're happy, and I was just like, oh my God, like that looks really good and I'll never be able to experience that. I knew that other people had this sentiment too. And I found this one TikToker who made a TikTok. His name's JJ Neiman. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He was a Broadway dancer, and he kind of blew up in March of 2020 when everybody else blew up. But he said, I figured out why Heartstopper makes me cry good tears, but also makes my stomach hurt at the same time. It's painful to watch because I mourn for the teenage high school version of myself who will never be able to experience a harmless, queer teen love romance. That's heartbreaking to me, and I wish I could go back and change that. But it's also such a sweet reminder about how pure and uncomplicated and supportive and beautiful queer love can be. Which I thought that resonated with me because it really is a beautiful story, and I'm glad young people now get to watch it. But it does make me really sad for younger Aidan, who just will never and did never experience that. And not because I didn't try. Like I said, my high school was small. And there was a handful of gay people there, openly gay people at the time, I should say. And, 2 of them were dating it on Ellen. So,
right, there you go.
And I really did try. I told people that I liked them. I was bold back then, and it was never reciprocated. And also, like, it's tough when you're in high school, just in general, whether you're gay, straight, in between, it's just tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Absolutely. And I think, yeah, exactly like you said, I think it's really great for this to be portrayed for, generations to come now. I think Glee, if you put it in contrast with Glee, I feel like when you first kind of see someone like Kurt's character, I feel like we're immediately seeing him get bullied for the way that he presents and acts.
The first scene, he's being pushed into a dumpster.
It is the first scene, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, exactly. So I think that's like a very harsh representation, but I think with Heartstopper, it's like immediately a very, like, I keep wanting to say wholesome, but it's a very normal, I want to say, portrayal of love, because that's what it is. Not to say that they don't portray bullying as well, because I know later in season 1 we have that moment of, what's his name, Harry
Harry,
bullying
the bully guy, yeah.
yeah. So like we still see examples of that happening. And I think it's hard when it's like, I don't know, I feel like with Glee, I guess they're both technically in high school. These are also just two very different portrayals of high school to me, I feel, which is also a crazy thing.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. Wholesome comes to mind. It's like wholesome, like Heartstopper's wholesome. Glee is, it's like Heartstopper, Glee, Euphoria, high school. Like it's like,
Yes.
that's the spectrum.
Exactly, which is crazy. I think, yeah, I guess it is on that range. I'm a fan of all portrayals of it, but I do feel like Heartstopper is just the most realistic version to me. I feel. I don't know. Is that accurate? Do you feel that way?
I think it's realistic in a lot of ways. I think that a lot of people, I think it's realistic in the way that they portray what it's like to have a crush nowadays, and like the Instagram communications and like the social media and like just the teenage, the mental state when you have a crush and you're in high school. The unrealistic thing is just the fact that the straight jock popular guy who he liked him back in the end. I feel like that's so rare. It is fiction because it is a Netflix TV show, not a documentary.
Right.
But that's the only thing where I'm like, oh, I don't want someone to see this and be like, it can happen to anybody, which it does happen to a lot of people, but a lot of people, it doesn't. And then you're going into college, never having been into a relationship before. And then college goes by, and then life, and then you're, but I'm not talking from my own experience.
Oh yeah, no, of course
No,
not.
I'm speaking for a lot of other people, but it still is an important story. What are your thoughts on casting straight actors to play gay roles? Or like because I know that because back in the day it was like, oh, representation's good, let's just have a gay character. But now people are more like, well, love Simon, love Victor. Why are you hiring someone who's not even gay to be those roles when there's so much more out there? What do you think about that? What do you think about them apples?
That's a good question. I feel like if there are so many queer artists, actors out there, why aren't we finding those? Why are we recycling actors that are already known to play these roles? And I feel like a lot of actors kind of validate it as like, oh, like it's normal to like be gay and to kiss the same sex. Like it doesn't matter to me. And I do think that that's like a good thing to express. But I think it's more important to do that, but also give that opportunity to someone who actually identifies with that identity. What are your thoughts?
I think that if you had like a gay character in the early 2000s or the 90s, then it's great that you have a gay character. I don't really care who played it. Nowadays, I feel like now that that's less, it's less of a crazy thing to have a gay character, that having people in their own community tell the stories of people in their own community makes sense to me. That feels like the natural way that it should be.
Yeah, but I think another good call out about this actually is Kit Connors was kind of forced to come out as bi from this. So then I guess it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because you don't want to force someone to come out to play that role. Like if you do make that a requirement, like you have to be gay to play this role, I feel like if someone doesn't feel comfortable coming out, then maybe they'll think, oh, then I can't do this.
Now that I say this, Diana Agron has played a lesbian or two in some independent films, but there was that whole thing where rumors that she was dating Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Yeah.
And she's never publicly talked about her sexuality, and I don't want to put anything on her and like because I'm not one of those fans that's like gay. They're like, she's so gay. Like she's Diana. She's great. She's in love with an artist right now, so that's amazing for her. A lot of fans, like with the Kit Connor thing, they want to portray this image. Like they want to like, she's so gay. Like, hey, you're so gay. Oh my God. So, and they're just like, oh my God, like let them breathe. Like don't force anybody to come out.
No, I completely agree. I think that's an interesting culture that I've seen with the online community lately is like really trying to force people to come out. Like I've seen it with Harry Styles a lot. I'm not a Harry Styles fan, but a lot of people, I just constantly see that discourse. And I'm like, why are we forcing people to say things that might not even be true? Like it's just, there's, I don't know, it's a very interesting aspect of pop culture now, I feel.
It's such a personal thing that it must be hard to be in the public eye, or to be like Jonathan Groff, who played Jesse St. James in
I
Glee.
loved his character.
I love him. He was in Spring Awakening. Oh my gosh, he's amazing. And he's talked about like when he was on Spring Awakening and then coming out to his friends and family after that, and then coming out in public, and it's just a process.
Yeah.
Like it's a journey.
It's a journey.
Just a small town girl.
It's such a great rendition. It's such a classic. All right, well, this has been a great conversation.
I know. Any excuse to talk about Glee, I'm here. Let's figure out another episode where we can bring Glee back in to Banterly.
Absolutely.
Sponsor us, Fox.
Well, share your thoughts with us on Banterly at immigrantlypod.com and engage with us on our socials on Instagram and at Immigrantly Podcast on TikTok.
Banterly is produced by Shay Yu, written by us, Aditi Misra and Aidan Taylor. The executive producer and editorial review is done by Sadia Khan.
Our sound designer and editor is Steve Martin. The Banterly theme music is by Simon Hutchinson. Additional music is by Epidemic Sound. See y'all next week.